Hey YouTube friends and family, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing great. I really do. I know that there's an awful lot of things going on, around YouTube, and oh my gosh, we're seeing things, one thing right after another popping up in our news, and crazy stuff. I mean, absolutely crazy stuff. Like I was reading this morning in the morning news that there was an 88-year-old man that's a World War II veteran. And they called him Shorty. His nickname was Shorty. He loved to go down and shoot pool. That was one of his new loves and his hobby. I guess he'd been doing for like 4 months or something. Anyway, he was beaten to death in a parking lot in Spokane, Washington. I used to live in Spokane. Beaten to death. 88-year-old man. The reason that this story is really bothering me bad is I haven't heard a word from our president. Not a word on this. I mean, you know how upset he was about Trayvon and Zimmerman. Oh, he didn't like that story at all. He didn't like what had happened at all. To a boy that could have been his son. And well, you know the story. I'm not going to have to drum that up again. Well, this 88-year-old man, Delbert Belton, was just a World War II veteran, and he was beaten by 2 teenagers, beaten to death in this parking lot. The parking lot was, what was it? It was at the Eagles Lodge there in Spokane, and he was beaten to death by these 2 teenagers, and boy, I just don't know how to tell you guys this. I really don't, because I know how upset everybody gets about this topic. But these 2 boys, according to the article, were African American boys. African American, it said in the article. It didn't say Black Americans. It said African Americans. But, yeah. They're still at large, too. They're out running around. The president hasn't said nothing about this veteran, 88-year-old World War II veteran. But I guess that's kind of how it goes, doesn't it? Nice, doesn't it? We're really lopsided on what we're concerned about, and the things that are important to us. In fact, the world seems to be a little lopsided, upside down, topsy-turvy. People are getting all engrossed in some of the craziest news articles. Things that they just repeat and repeat. One thing that's coming out again, though, and people are starting to pay attention to, is this nuclear stuff, Fukushima. And I don't know, guys, I don't know why we should be concerned. I mean, they did raise the amount that we can take, They raised it. We can take more. We can take more radiation. And why are people getting upset about these tanks? That Fukushima, they gathered up all this contaminated water at, dangerously high measurements of radiation, or high levels of radiation in this water. Deadly. Yeah. You stand by it for, what did it say? Something like an hour. If you're anywhere near it for an hour, you're dead. You just drop like a fly. Well, not like a fly. We got a lot of flies around here, and they just don't drop very easy. But, yeah, you can't be around it. Tanks are leaking. But what did they expect? I mean, we're not supposed to be paying any attention at all. They, government, NRC, and companies such as TEPCO, they've got it all under control. They've advised us that we have nothing to be concerned about. Not a thing. They're still pouring it all into the ground and into the Pacific Ocean. And hey, have you noticed fish has been on sale a lot lately? Certainly has. My gosh, tuna prices went down. Yeah. A lot of seafood on sale. A lot of it caught out there in the Gulf, you know, where all the oil and gases and everything are, and out in the Pacific where the radiation is. And are you guys jumping on those sales and buying up that fish? Yeah, they're gathering all that highly radioactive wastewater. They're storing it in all those big tanks, you know, like huge barrels. And they've got them all stacked really neat in straight lines. Just perfect. You know, when the camera zooms in on it, your mind picks up the visual and you go, oh, steel barrels, all straight and neat and tidy. Yeah, they're contained. It's safe. You know, what they don't bother to tell you is those tanks don't hold. And if you doubt that, type in, Google in Hanford and see what's happened there. Oh, did I mention the Columbia River? Yeah. Radiation leaking into the Columbia. Today, guys, I watched Ben Time Traveler, watched his video. I watched the old Marine One, Vaughn, and what, I mean, these guys, there's so many people on it. You guys are catching some of the darndest things. You remember that, any of you see the video that went around, you know, Vaughn showed us with the weatherman, and he's showing this green stuff that looked like, well, it didn't look healthy. It looked bad to me. I looked at it and thought, oh my gosh, what is it? I thought it was something, you know, more chemicals from these beautiful clouds that they make for us, you know, chemical clouds. So I thought it was something like that the radar had picked up. But the weatherman told us not to worry. It was a flock of birds. Yeah. It was a flucking flock of birds. And no, it was a leak, radiation leak. Go to Ben Time Traveler's video and he'll explain it all. And Vaughn caught it, the old Marine, he caught it. So I went and I looked and I thought, gosh, you know, and sure enough, I went and looked at the nuclear power plants here in the United States. And you know what I found, guys? There's somewhere around 75%. 75%. That's 75 out of every 100. U.S. nuclear plants have been found to be leaking radioactive element tritium into the ground. Some of them leaking a lot, some leaking not so much, but there are 75% of them leaking tritium into the ground. And how is that happening? Corroded pipes. Corroded pipes. Yeah, buried underground, that seems to be the main problem. Burying these pipes underground, you know, metal rusts when it's underground. It certainly does. And rust, once it starts eating into this metal, it just eats and eats, and it pretty soon it's a hole. I mean, you guys have seen rusted cars and stuff, haven't you? Yeah, exactly. So I got to wondering, what are the health effects of this? If you have 75% of these nuclear plants, how many nuclear plants are there in the United States? But 75% are leaking. And so what are the health effects of tritium? And how does it affect our well-being? Well, you know, it's an ionized radiation, and exposure to it increases the risk of developing cancer. You know, and they say, and now this information that I read, of course, came from the uh, Nuclear Regulatory Commission site. And so, you know, tit for tat, tat for tit, how much of this do you believe? Anyway, it emits very low energy radiation and leaves the body relatively quickly. So it seems like as fast as it goes in, it leaves, but it's causing its damage as it circles through, evidently. I don't know. I'm no scientist. I'm no specialist at this, but I don't like the idea. I really don't. You know, these guys, let's face it, they started this. Some brilliant mind came up with the idea of building a nuclear plant, and they put it all together in the blueprints, gathered up all the contractors, built this thing, and once they got it all done and they got everything laid in place, the rods and the whole works, they knew how to push the button to start it. And everybody was going, oh, this is going to be nice. We're going to have lower bills, which didn't happen, by the way. Has anybody had a bill go down? Have any of your electrical bills gone down? No, I didn't think so. I know ours didn't. Anyway, so they built all these. They started having problems with them, and for the most part, they were able to handle some of the problems. But they had no idea how dangerous this was. And you know, when they're pulling up these blueprints, hindsight's 20/20, guys. They don't know how to turn this stuff off. Oh, sure, they can put the waste in barrels. They can shut the plant down and keep all this stuff contained. What they do with Chernobyl, they put it in a sarcophagus, you know, all cemented in. Oh, it's falling apart too, by the way, guys. Certainly is. Anyway, so they don't know what to do. Guys, they just don't know what to do. And you know what? I don't either. And I know you guys don't. There's none of us that knows what to do. So, given that, do we quit eating the fish? Do we just stay away from fish? I mean, it is on sale. Do we stay out of the water? Are you going to go to the Pacific and swim? Or down in the Gulf, you know, on the beaches there at the Gulf? You know, the other thing I noticed, guys, and I might be wrong on this, I don't have the knowledge a lot of you have. You guys that get into this radiation and get into these nuclear plants and, you know, like Nibiru Magic and Miss Milky, all of you guys, in fact, I'll throw a bunch of links down in the bottom for any of you that don't know who these people are. These plants that they're having trouble with that are leaking, ironically, they kind of run up the Madrid fault line. You know, they go up Mississippi, you know, Louisiana up, goes north and northeast. You know what I noticed is it matches that Navy future map of America. I don't know, guys, a little unnerving. But should we be worried? Absolutely not. Here, let's face it, guys. We've been ingesting, inhaling, and walking in the rain of the fallout from Fukushima for over 2 years. We have had it in our food because as it rains, it goes into the soil. It hits our plants, our vegetables. There's no escaping it, guys. There's no escaping it. So what I highly recommend is that we focus on what we can work on. Number one, getting governments cleaned up. We got a lot of garbage that needs to be taken out. A lot of garbage. And boy, does it stink. You ever have garbage stay in your house too long? Or Casey Anthony had some in the back of her car, I guess. And it stunk really bad. That's what they said. Anyway, garbage stinks. So, It needs to be taken out. And we need to start at the top and work our way down. Because the people that we've put in these jobs, and that's the thing, people, we've put them there, we've allowed them. We are the people. We the people. I want all of you to go online and Google the Constitution. I want you to read the beginning. I want you to read the Declaration of Independence. I want you to read any document you can that our forefathers put out, and you will see that it is governed and ruled by we the people. We vote these people in. We make the decision. They're supposed to be servants to us. They're not in charge. They're in there temporary. We're here all the time. They have a short period of time that they're allowed to destroy things. If we allow them to destroy things, we need to clean house, guys. We really do. And love one another. Let's focus on being prepared for disasters because, friends, if this is any indication, we got a whole bunch coming. A whole bunch coming. They say that Fukushima is 1,000 times worse than they even imagined. 1,000 times worse. 1,000 plus times, I think it said. Well, you know what, guys? We have 1,000 times worse coming. It's going to be rough. Get prepared. Love one another. Take care of each other. Smile. Enjoy life. Walk. I've been watching the birds. They're not worried. So we shouldn't either. We shouldn't worry either, guys. Don't know what this whole video was about, except that I love you. And I will catch you guys later. Great big hugs.